Ohio and Colorado, and thank you for joining us. And my time is up. Good night and God bless you. No. So listen, I read the other day that the phrase, "Is it possible to change your life?" was typed over 1 billion times into Google. Isn't that interesting? 1 billion times. People all around our country are asking the question, is it possible to change something about yourself? Newsflash, Google does not have the answer, okay? Nor does Siri. You all know what Siri is, right? You have an iPhone, Siri's that little help there that will answer your questions. My wife and I were in a cab the other day, and my wife was talking to the cab driver, asking him a question. Somehow she activated Siri. Siri cuts into our conversation and says, "I don't have that information." It's like, who asked you? Siri just starts opining on things now. For fun though, I did put this question to Siri the other day. I said, "Siri, what is the meaning of life?" Siri said, "I don't know, but I think there's an app for that." I asked the question again, "Siri, what is the meaning of life?" She responds, "All evidence to date points to chocolate." I type it in one more time, or say it one more time rather, "What is the meaning of life?" And Siri responds, "I find it odd that you would ask this question of an inanimate object." Exactly. Listen, I'll tell you where the answers are to that question. Right here in the book that I'm holding. It's called the Bible. And I'm going to read to you in a few moments some verses from Scripture that record the conversation between a man named Nicodemus and Jesus Christ some 2,000 years ago. For some of you, these will be things you've heard before. For others, this will be brand new information and, quite frankly, truths that can change your life. I'm going to share with you the gospel. What does the word gospel mean? It means good news. And I have good news in a bad world for you, so I hope you'll pay very careful attention. You know, here in America, we're a religious people. 9 out of 10 American homes have a copy of the Scripture. I think most Americans think they are Christians, quite frankly. But when you begin to ask people what they think the Bible teaches, you find they don't know much about it. For instance, despite the fact that 9 out of 10 American homes have a Bible, half of all adults in our country cannot name the 4 Gospels. Hint, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. 82% of Americans believe that the phrase, "God helps those who help themselves," is in the Bible. Sorry, it isn't. Jay Leno went out on the street. He has this little piece he does in his show called Jaywalking. He asked people the question, "Can you name any of the 10 Commandments?" Very few could. One guy said, 10 Commandments, freedom of speech. Then Jay Leno asked the question, "Who was swallowed by a whale?" And someone said, "Pinocchio?" It actually gets worse. 1 in 10 thought Moses was one of Jesus' 12 apostles, and 12% of American adults believe that Joan of Arc was Noah's wife. I'm not making this up. I think there's a lot of people, quite honestly, that think they're Christians that are not. The Bible asks this question, check up on yourself. Are you really a Christian? Are you just pretending to be one when you aren't at all? I think there's a lot of posers out there. You know what a poser is, right? It's someone that pretends to be something they really are not. Heard a story about a guy that was down on his luck and he was desperate to make some money. He heard they were hiring down at the local zoo. And he was hoping to get a janitorial position, so he went and applied. The guy said, "Sorry, that position is filled, but I noticed you're a pretty good-sized guy, and I hope you won't take offense to what I'm about to ask you, but our gorilla died the other day." And it was one of our most popular exhibits, and this is going to sound crazy, but hear me out. Would you be willing to put on a gorilla suit and pretend to be the gorilla until the new one arrives? And the money is really good. The guy found out how much they would pay. He reluctantly agreed. His first day out in the gorilla cage, he felt like a fool because here he is dressed up and he's thinking no one's going to believe it, but he beat on his chest and let out some noises, and the crowds were big and the people were loving it. They were totally buying it. They're thinking this guy's an actual gorilla. So by day 2, he's swinging back and forth on the vines and enjoying it. And on the 3rd day, he got a little too carried away. He was swinging back and forth and went out of the gorilla enclosure into the lion's den. Now he was in a dilemma. If he cries out for help, everyone's going to know he's a fraud. He's just a guy in a gorilla suit. But if he doesn't cry out for help, he's going to be lunch for the lion. The lion, with a very hungry look in his face, starts approaching him. The guy in the gorilla suit is backed up in the corner, and the lion whispers loudly, "Shut up or you'll get us both fired!" Now a confession. I was the man in the gorilla suit. No. But the point of it is things are not always as they appear.